Welcome, everybody, to the Old Gold Show. With you, as always, I'm co-manager over at Hammer and Rails, Andrew Ledman.
And I guess I'm Casey Bartley. Rivals
Yawning,
Network. Boiler
yawning,
upload.
yawning
Lemon,
just to start
it's
off the show.
-4 degrees. Everyone is dying of the plague around here. I had to take my Coke Zero from the garage a half hour early into
So it
the
can
office
unfreeze.
to make sure it wouldn't freeze when I opened it.
Yeah.
This is the kind of
Well,
conditions I'm living in, Lemon.
you are wearing a hat indoors, a knit
Yes.
hat, so that's on you. I mean, maybe you should pay your heating bill. I don't know what you
The
got it set to in there.
thermostat says 71 degrees in here,
Oh,
and it
see,
is not.
my wife would say 71 degrees is too hot in a house.
It is
My
too
wife,
hot.
she sets it at like 68. So,
I would love that.
it gets quite chilly. But we're not here to talk about the weather, as fun as that would be for everybody. We're here to talk about Purdue men's basketball, victorious over Penn State in a game that honestly wasn't much of a ball game. Purdue went on what a 27-2 run in the first half over about a 6-minute span.
So when I'm writing recaps, like that's one of the things that like people like. I find it annoying, but like so I'll make a note when it's like 16-0 run.
Yeah,
I had like 8 of them written around in a row because they just kept adding on to it.
right.
It
Yeah,
was
because you
like
just
16-3, 20-3, 24-3, and then it was like 30-6, and you're just like, this wasn't a
it's
run so much as just like
yeah.
a massacre.
This is just the game now.
Yeah.
It's no longer a run. It's just the first half. This one, you talked about on the last episode that you didn't think Penn State matched up very well against Purdue. Penn State was a bad rebounding team. Penn State had no one to match up with Zach Edey. And, thanks to you for sending me the text
Yeah.
about the Zach Edey line on the websites for gambling, because I was like, oh, he's definitely going to go over that on rebounds. So that was great for me. But he
Did
goes
I
for
do that for
third.
myself? No, I didn't.
Well,
No,
hey,
I did not.
I can't control what you do with yourself, Casey.
Yeah.
But 30 and 20 for Zach Edey, just an absolute dominating performance. Penn State had no answer for him the entire game.
No. And I think more than anything, we like the fact that Edey was coming off a game where he didn't really play very well. Both
Yeah, I mean, 2
effort,
games.
yeah, effort, everything, just didn't play well. So yeah, we were very sure that Edey was going to come out and be hungry on the glass, and he almost had that over by the first half, I believe. I think
He did. Yeah,
he had it by the first half. Yeah,
13 rebounds in the first half, which is just crazy.
when he went out of the game, he was out rebounding Penn State. He was.
That's just insane.
Yeah. So, which is something like we've seen from him before. He out rebounded
Right.
a whole team for a whole game. That was wild. But I think that's what you want to see, because just I don't think there was any question about Edey, but it is nice to see Edey charged up, and I would imagine it will carry over into our next point of discussion.
Yeah, that's the hope. So, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this Penn State game. It was, as I said, it wasn't much of a ball game. I do want to point out that the Purdue men's basketball Twitter account put this out today, that this is the third Purdue player, but fourth time a player has had a 30-point, 20-rebound game since 2010, 2011.
And how many people have overall?
Well, 3 players from Purdue overall in the Big Ten since 2010, 2011. There have been 5 games of that. Only one of them is a non-Purdue player. And
That's
I looked this up just a moment ago. Can you tell me who the other one is?
The other guy to do it?
Yes, the non-Purdue player to do it.
Is it?
You're not going to get it, but I'm interested to see where you go.
Frank Kaminsky.
No.
What team?
Iowa.
Oh, Luke Garza.
Nope.
What?
Chris Murray.
You're telling me Luke Garza went out and won a National Player of the Year, dominated the Big Ten, big oaf inside. Just mean that the best way.
Maybe the best kind of oaf. Yeah.
Took up all kinds of space. He never once had a 30-20.
No, Chris Murray, 30-20 back in November of 2022. against Georgia Tech.
He's got trophies in his possession that say Big Ten Player of the Year, big man.
He does. He
And he
does.
doesn't have a 30-20.
No.
Chris Murray.
No. Chris Murray, yeah.
Skinny little Chris Murray went up and grabbed 20 rebounds.
Not even Keegan.
Not even the good one.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh. All right.
Marino.
So, Purdue back to their winning ways. We're going to take a quick break, come back, get into what everybody's looking forward to, the big game on the Big Peacock.
As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 each and every week of the college basketball season. We have a special offer that will be available starting on Tuesday, January 9th and running through Monday, February 12th, the morning after Super Bowl 58. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, in honor of the big game, you can use the bonus code FIELD158 and you'll get $158 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not you win that first bet. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app. Sign up using the bonus code FIELD158. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD158 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available under one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient when I have to go cover games in New York or Philly, which happens quite a bit. When you cross state borders, you just log into your existing account and fire away. You don't have to create separate accounts in each state. It's easy, it's simple, it's clean. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the heart of the college basketball season. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odd boosts, and my favorite, a nice juicy parlay boost. So download the BetMGM app and sign up today.
And we are back. So now it's time to talk the game that everybody wants to talk about. Purdue versus IU. Purdue heading to Bloomington. This game exclusively on Peacock, part of their genius strategy to get everybody to subscribe. They already had a playoff game this weekend. Now they got Purdue IU. Casey, I assume you're heading down to Bloomington for this one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How many games have you covered at IU now?
Well, I started covering when only Purdue won there. I think it was 3 of those in a row.
Okay.
And then the last 2, which have not gone that way.
Right. Yeah. So this might
5.
be your sixth. Might be your sixth one coming up.
6th IU Purdue at IU.
That's fantastic.
Pretty thrilled about it. Worst media seats in the business. Worst
Really?
media seats in this side of Toronto hockey rink.
Don't they put, isn't it like in a corner or something?
No, not in the corner. It's straight up in the half court, but at Assembly Hall, it's
about
straight
vertical.
up and you're tucked and you can barely see and it's hostile. And by hostile, I mean the steps are hostile.
Oh yeah.
Looking at them.
I've been to one game at Assembly Hall. I went just as a student, so just as a fan, and we were in the very back rows of Assembly Hall, and that is a dangerous walk. Not to mention, things might fall from the ceiling, but it's just so steep.
Yeah, and then if I remember correctly, media seats are. You remember way back in school, Lemon, when you had the desk where the chair and the seat were
attached?
Connected?
Yeah.
I do believe the media seats are attached. And let me tell you.
Reminds me of taking the iStep test.
As someone who, I believe one of the comments was, if Chubby could have a sound.
What?
Yeah, it was good. That's good.
Where was that?
On our YouTube comments.
Oh, yeah, never read the comments.
That's
Everyone
fine.
knows that.
But it's those are not my seating arrangements. That's not how I prefer to sit. I like to choose my own distance between desk and belly.
Yeah.
I don't like that predetermined for me.
I think that's a pretty common feeling. I think most people want that.
Yeah. So, Assembly Hall is a lot of things. It's very loud. It's a very passionate fan base. It's not a very respectful fan base.
No,
it's a hateful fan base. There's a lot of
mirth. It's just angry. You can
it's very
feel
angry.
And
Yes.
granted, again, I've only gone for a Purdue IU game, so I'm sure it's different other games. But
Right.
when we went there as Purdue students, I mean,
Mhm.
you could feel like the hatred and the
Correct.
vitriol, just steaming. And it's not just from the students, which was, I think, one of the most surprising things. I mean, we had like 40, 45, 50-year-old men come running up to where we were sitting and like point a finger in our face and like yell at us. And we're like, dude, I am 21 years old. What are you doing with your life? Get it together.
I have a telephone picture of a 70-some-year-old man in a wheelchair with a two-sided sign. And on one of the sides, it says very clearly blank Edie,
Okay.
sitting in the handicap section. It's a different place.
Did you call it a telephone picture?
It's a telephone picture. It's a picture on my telephone.
How old are you?
80 years old.
Okay. Well, then I'll let you get by with
I'm
calling it a
speaking to
telephone
this
picture.
man. I'm hoping he can hear me.
Oh, okay. Well,
The-
hopefully someone can read him a transcript or something because I'm not sure he's going to be subscribing.
yeah. I joke about because like Assembly Hall is, if you haven't been, and I know you hate arenas. You don't think there's anything such as
Are we
charm
going to have this argument again?
or characteristics that make an arena worth visiting. But IU, like Assembly Hall is a special place. It's cool because when you walk in from one area, it looks like a high school gym, just like the most gorgeous, beautiful Indiana high school gym. And if you look up at the rafters, you can see that it's a crappy place to watch a ball game. And that's a
Look,
special thing to blend.
yeah. Here's what I'll say about the arena thing. And we had this argument in the past.
Mhm.
I've never once walked into into any arena and gone like, oh, I'm finally here. The reverence, I can feel it. I can't believe I'm finally stepping inside. Like, never once. I just don't care. I've been to
Because you root for
Wrigley.
a football team that has like a pirate ship on it. And that's what you think class is.
Yeah, that's why. You've nailed it. You've got it in one guess, and I have no response. No, it's a building, folks. You and I saw a game last year at the Palestra.
It
Everybody's
was
like,
awesome. It
everybody's
was
like,
so cool.
everybody's like, you got to go to the Palestra.
You
It's great.
do.
So
You should
so
go to the
when
Palestra. It's really
I've
freaking cool.
I've been,
You should
I've
have polenta for dinner and then Palestra for
I
evening events.
that was terrible. I sat 2 seats away from you. It was just the gym.
Why they gotta separate us, by the way?
I don't know.
rude.
That was weird.
That was rude.
Yeah, it's just the gym. It was fine. I didn't think there was a single special thing about it.
There's
If
like only
anything,
one
if
moment
anything,
that I
it was
hate
like
you, and it's
it was like
these moments when you're talking about arenas.
it wasn't even a good Indiana high school gym, is the thing. Like it was smaller than a lot of Indiana high school gyms, and it wasn't even that great.
Lemon, the
I'm
other
sorry.
option was us being on the Penn State campus.
Okay, I mean that's also a bad arena. The Bryce Jordan Center is not a great place to watch a game. But my point is, I
What is
didn't.
wrong with you?
It's a place where people play basketball or football for many people. You know, I'm not. You know, whatever. I've never once walked in and just went, oh, I can die now. I mean, I've
Please,
seen a game at
folks.
Fenway. I've seen a game at Wrigley.
Please, folks, in the comments, roast him. Roast
No.
him mercilessly.
No,
Tell him
up
about
is
the
what I'd
awesome
say.
experiences and places that you've been that's mattered.
Grow up
that
is what
he
I'd say
does-
to that. Come on.
Anyway, Purdue hasn't won there in like 2 years, so the place is
Yeah,
cursed.
it's not been
Cursed.
great for Purdue.
Cursed.
So what are some key matchups we need to look out for that Purdue might either dominate or might struggle with?
Yeah, I use a weird team, right? Because
Yeah.
they kind of exist in the same space Purdue does. Like they play inside. Their bigs don't look like Edie, but they do their
No.
most damage in there. Malik Renew and kel'el Ware are two athletic, long guys that really work off of each other, kind of in a high-low and in motion, and just They're looking to dunk. They're looking to get inside. They can stretch the floor a little bit, but IU's offense exists in the old school, in the archaic, one could say. They
Yeah.
play an offense that is not all that conducive to modern basketball. And, Purdue's kind of this hybrid blend between dominant inside and 3-point shooting. IU has, I have not, it's been like 10 years since I've not heard IU fans just blatantly complain about how little shooting they have on their roster. It's
Well,
every
I
year,
mean,
every
yeah.
year.
Well, for some reason, they just keep recruiting the exact same type of
Correct.
player and not getting any shooters. So right now, for instance, overall as a team, they shoot 33% from three, which, as you kind of pointed out, in modern day basketball, that's not how you win games. You got to shoot better than 33%. You want to be closer to 40, if not, 41, 42. But 33% just not very good. And I mean, especially you look at a guy like Trey Galloway, 26% on the year from three, and he's a guard.
Yeah, even like more important than the percentage is they just don't shoot very many.
Yeah.
Their points, 58.4% of their points come from the 2-point range, 20th highest in the nation. Their 3-pointers, 20.4%. That's 350th in the
Oof.
nation. That's very low. So that's not a lot of variance, especially when you're playing teams that are better than you, who have better guard play than you. Now, what's going to be fascinating is, in theory, IU has two bigs that could cause Edie some problems because they really do relocate and move well, and that's
Yeah.
something that he doesn't defend particularly well. But at the same time, they're also playing right near the rim, which there's a lot of historical evidence that teams don't do well there against Purdue. That's not where you're getting the ball. It's where you want to get looks. And then, like, if he's able to just hang out in the paint, that's generally good for Purdue's defense.
Mm-hmm.
So which one of those shows itself? Can IU be precise enough with two guys inside there? And maybe even more importantly, can their two bigs, who are pretty good, be good enough to beat a team that really wants to play with two bigs at all times, that is equipped in a way to play two bigs, that IU is kind of banking against other teams? Like, they're kind of doing what Purdue does. Like, we've got two big guys.
We just play them we play them at the same time. And as we've talked about on this show, most of the times we don't feel like it's worked how Painter wants it to work. But when it worked really well and it looked beautiful. And with Renault and Ware, I mean, maybe this is a game where it works, where Trey Kaufman-Renn and Zach Edey both have really good games because, they've got the matchups for it. We'll see. But it's going to be quite the opportunity for them, I would say.
Yeah, when Illinois came to Purdue, they put Zach Edey on Ty Rodgers, and, it looked like a zone. Maybe it wasn't a zone.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was matched up against Rodgers, but he's not guarding him. I think this could be another game where Painter could look to go to the extreme, something he's not done very often. So IU, their three is true freshman Mackenzie Mbako. 6'8", 217. Plays it inside out. Big dude, tough, can shoot a little. Mason Gillis, anyone in the starting lineup at 3?
Yeah, I mean, I could see
and maybe not even starting lineup, but like, if they're playing Ware, Renault, and Mbako at the same time,
that's a big lineup.
That's a big lineup that Purdue can match.
Yeah.
And they can do it without sacrificing spacing. I think Matt Painter would be particularly thrilled at the idea of running a lineup of Smith, Jones, Gillis, TKR, and Edey. I think that is, you could argue at top. If you're talking about the highest ceiling Purdue team, that's probably it. I think we've seen a little bit from every one of those guys.
Yeah.
That they are capable of going out. And I use weird, right? Because like, Trey Galloway is a 6'5" point guard-ish.
Yeah.
He's big, and you want to guard him with size. So I think the more size out there, the better. He said the shooting's not been there, but he plays with an intentionality that scares me a little bit if I'm Purdue. Just because he will really lower his head, get down. He played well
Yeah.
against Purdue last year.
Yes, he did.
Um, I I don't know what to make of Xavier Johnson.
That was my very next question. He's only played in 10 of their 17 games so far. He's had some injuries, some struggles. Was it a foot injury last year that he's
Sure.
still coming back from? I
I believe so.
And he hasn't looked like the same player that he was, because we know he's incredibly talented. He's a heck of a player, but he just hasn't been there so far this year. And I don't know how much he's going to play or what we can expect from him at all. He's a bit of a wild card.
And he was kind of a wild card before he was healthy. So
Yeah,
it's even
that's true.
weirder on this team. I think Purdue would probably be pretty happy if Xavier Johnson said, "Oh, I'm the senior. This is my team. I'm going to take over this game."
You think?
I get the feeling Purdue would be okay with that. He's shot the ball well when he's come in, but high turnover player. Not I wouldn't say a natural playmaker. But it is a lot of interesting. I think IU they don't have a good win, really.
No.
You look at
almost beating Kansas is their best win.
Right. They've played some good teams and they've been, for the most part, robbed.
Yeah. I mean, both of us have played Morehead State. They barely beat Morehead State. They had to hang on at the end. Purdue, of course, kind of dominated Morehead State. That one was at Mackey. I was there. And they don't really have a good conference win. I mean, my guess, Ohio State, probably their best win. Maybe their best win overall, but certainly their best win in conference. But they went to Michigan. I believe they was at Michigan, and they won. They beat Maryland. They beat Minnesota. So it's not like their 4 wins in the Big Ten are against kind of like the Goliaths in the conference. Their next 3 are Purdue, Wisconsin, Illinois. The last 2 of those on the road. So they might come crashing to reality pretty quickly in these next 3 games.
Yeah, when I watch them, I watch a defense that's not connected. In the way they play, they have to be, because they're not good enough on offense. And that defense is too prone to I think Braden Smith's going to have a field day. I don't think
on both ends of the court, or just on offense, you mean?
I mean, Purdue does a pretty good job of hiding Smith.
Yeah, I worry about his size compared with who they're going to stick on him.
Yeah, it's just, are you telling me Xavier Johnson's going to beat Purdue by making a bunch of backdoor cuts?
No.
But that's what it comes down to, I think, because I think they'll try to hide him on him a lot. And do I see that happening? Not really. Do I see, one of the backsides of playing 2 bigs inside, those cuts aren't as available. There's not that much.
Right.
Space.
There's a lot of, I would say they're taking up a lot of space.
So I think it kind of gets in the way of the way that Smith has been beat. So I just think a smart guard can absolutely decimate IU.
Braden Smith, pretty smart guard.
Pretty smart guard. Probably best passer in the country. Just saying. This is another game where you look at Galloway's size. That's why Camden Heidi's on the roster.
Yeah.
Like, stick him on a 6'5" guard.
This could be a huge test for Camden Heidi. And I'd love to see it, because he's been playing great. He's been taking advantage of every minute he's been given. He's going out there, he's shooting well, he's playing hard. He makes mistakes, just like, young guys are prone to do, but I think his athleticism is kind of unmatched on the rest of this Purdue team for the position that he plays. And I think it's going to be harder and harder for Painter not to give him minutes.
Yeah, and he's shooting 11 from 20 from 3 now.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid next to it. So yeah, so like, does Painter go Heidi at the 3, or does he go Gillis? Does he go super big? Like, I use almost a team. You could run a Smith, Heidi, Gillis, whatever at the 4 ED lineup. Like, I think if I'm an IU fan, if I'm looking at this without IU goggles on, which is, you're not an IU fan if you're doing
those are scary goggles.
Yeah. This is a team I'd want no part in, because Purdue can play every bit as big as IU wants to play everywhere. Only Purdue can shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
a much better shooting team.
That said, Edie's not been great on defense this year. He still gets a little lost.
No.
Those bigs could do some things and get him in foul trouble. I think that's all possible. So
That's my worry.
I think it is a fascinating matchup, but I don't think IU's talented enough to actually make it. It could be a game at home. Probably will be a game at home, but like neutral floor, I don't think IU just has the players that Purdue does.
Okay, yeah,
which is wild.
But well, yeah. I mean, I'd want to go back and look, but I would imagine just on a pure star rating level, I would guess IU has a higher, per player average rating than Purdue, but I'd
They
have to
have
go
for
back
6 years.
That's what I mean. It seems like it's been that way year after year. So this one obviously not at a neutral court. This one is at Assembly Hall. It's going to be tough. Purdue has lost the last two to IU. They're still Purdue, I believe, still has won 7 of the last 10, something to that effect. But winning at Assembly Hall is never easy. Some very good teams have played some very bad IU teams and really struggled. I think this one's going to be a struggle. I think that's going to be tough. I think it's going to come down to the final 4 minutes, and I really hope Purdue finds a way to pull it out. But I'm not 100% confident anytime Purdue goes into Assembly Hall.
I mean, IU was a tough matchup for Purdue last year because
Yeah.
of Jalen Hood-Schifino and Trace Jackson Davis.
Hood-Schifino just absolutely destroyed Purdue.
And so you have to do a whole lot of sweet talking to talk me into Xavier Johnson pulling that kind of game off.
Oh, no. I don't think you can compare the two.
And like you're telling me Malik Renew is going to have that kind of defensive game against Purdue that Trace Jackson Davis did?
Yeah, but I think
just
anytime Purdue and IU play, there's going to be someone on the IU roster who you don't expect who has a good game. Maybe Trey Galloway somehow hits 3 or 4 from 3, and you're pulling your hair out because you're like, those are the shots you want him to take. The stats, the analytics say you want him to take those, and then suddenly he's hitting 3 or 4, and you're just pulling your hair out. You don't know what to do.
Yeah, the big thing though about like this year's IU team is they're turnover prone, and they're barely a better rebounding team than Penn State.
Ooh.
Like 249th offensive rebounding rate, 233rd defensive. Like they don't crash the board. Like I said, there is a lack of cohesion with them that, when you had Trace Jackson Davis on the floor, like he is a glue guy in the highest way because he covered so much space and just ate so much room for everyone. So like they've lost that and they've not really replaced it.
Yeah. Well, hard to replace a guy like that. As Purdue fans will see, I'm sure next year when Zach Edey is gone, no matter how good the guy behind him is, it's tough to replace an All-American. So anything else we need to know about this IU Purdue matchup, IU team, or do you want to just, put on your Bret Hart glasses and give us a heel turn here at the end, or anything else you got?
Where did I put those?
Unbelievable.
Next time. I know. Like Purdue's going to win this game. It's been too long since Purdue's won at Assembly Hall.
It's been a while.
It feels weird. Got used to it. Just utter domination of IU. It doesn't feel right not to sweep them anymore. They're not on Purdue's level. IU as a program is a second-rate Big Ten program.
Whoa.
There's no way around it. I don't know what to tell you. What have they done? What are we supposed to pretend they still matter because they have things that happened in the 80s? Because they got lucky in 02? That
was a weird year. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a very good program. They're fine.
All right.
They're slightly shinier Nebraska.
Slightly. Well, I mean, less shiny Nebraska didn't work out well for Purdue. So you're not really filling me with confidence.
IU went to Nebraska and got stomped 86-70 as well.
They did.
Tough place, Nebraska.
Yeah, I guess so. And there is more than corn in Indiana, so we've got that to look forward
Yeah,
to.
there's freaking cold, Ledman. That's all
There
the
you go.
freaking is.
I'm near the ocean.
-4 degrees.
I'm near the ocean. You're near Indiana Beach. So, I mean, everybody's got good things going on.
Is that even open anymore? They reopen it
Indiana
like the
Beach?
14th owner?
Dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't live in Indiana anymore. And so that's on you. All right. Purdue,
Show them your shirt,
IU.
Ledman.
My Buccaneer shirt or my
No, we've had to look at this dumb Buccaneers shirt this whole game.
my Power Line shirt
That's what we like. Look
from
at that.
one of the greatest
Look at
Disney
that.
movies of all time, a Goofy movie.
Maybe the greatest Disney song of all time. An absolute banger.
I mean, which one though?
The main one. Come on.
I mean, but there's more than one Power Line song on the soundtrack.
You think I don't know, Ledman? I don't know the name of it. It's the one from the movie.
Eye to Eye.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's more than one.
Eye
You must
to
not like
Eye,
a Goofy movie as much as I do.
as Purdue plays IU, which is I to lose.
There you go.
Bam.
Absolutely perfect. So everybody remember, this one's Peacock only. Nothing I can do about that for you, but it's just a few dollars a month. I don't want to hear your complaints. It's worth it to watch Purdue IU. There you go. We'll see you on the Peacock, folks. Till next time, like, review, rate, subscribe, Field of 68. Get it.
Get it. It's a new slogan.
Yeah, I got nothing. You rattled me with the Power Line talk. All right, I got to edit a podcast just like you do.
Yeah. Tiger.